difficult path or the narrow path. The Lobos, to be that grip you seem to have on this whole situation where nothing is happening until you're ready, until you say so, because you write all things. You're the creator of all things. So therefore, that is my faith. That is my anchor. That is my rock. That's what I keep anchored in, the faith, knowing that I've, again, have all the evidence. That's what I was saying at the time of the SWAT raid. And so, it's 11 months we're going to be on, next month it's 10. It's in Father's hands, the state has the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt to prove that Elijah didn't do the 180 hours. And, well, in the case where they have me with these felony charges for hindering prosecution, they're going to have to ask, why was he hindering the arrest of his son? So that is, my kitty might want out. Hold on. Out, girl. You want outside? You go outside? There's a whole bowl of food up there for you, girl. But, as a dad, I can't just sit here and not think about my son, knowing that the last time I spoken with the law enforcement, they knew where he was, and so I wasn't wrong. There's too many there's just hundreds of pieces of evidence in this case which will make them have to stand down. So I'm hoping that the attorney will shortly here this week, hopefully it's now. I mean, I'm not trying to be impatient. It's been 10 months, almost 11 months, and it's in Father's hands. But I do know that this is an excessive force case, and the accountability, well, it really would be lying at this point if you really look at the lawsuit, because I will pursue a lawsuit against the state, the county, and the federal government for not stepping in and intervening in this case. Now, there's too many. I know Father's in control. I really do. Again, I'm not concerned. It's just as a dad, I'm concerned about my son's well-being. And they're brutal. They've been brutal to me, and they've been brutal to my son, and they kidnapped my daughter. So I don't have any faith in the system. All my faith is anchored in the word, and that Father created all things. And there's nothing that no man or no woman that is doing right now that isn't already from the foundation of the world written. So I tell myself that, but as a dad, you still are concerned, where this Marshall lied to me the whole time. So what other lies is he telling? What is he hiding? Why is Josephine County not? They came and did a SWAT raid on a warrant, on my son. See, because this is about me. And they're not going to arrest him. They when all along, even at my last time of arrest, I was telling him Marshall, Wolf Creek, Oregon, and it turns out I was right. 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 And then I told you so. Now I want answers. So there will be answers and more accountability. So, it's kind of ironic that my son was built. We were gathering rocks to build a house. I mean, I was this close to having my son in my life. He is the only thing I have other than this ministry. I mean, I have Kevin here now, and, since then, Father's blessed me with a lot of, people online. I don't know you brothers and sisters in person, but I feel like I know some of you because you've been here for years now. And, this case is going on a year ago that they SWAT raided this house and they hit me in the face with a grenade. There's no case. And so I'm I know that. I know that. I know there will be. They can't. The state has the burden of proof to prove on my case that I'm hindering prosecution and interfering with a peace officer. Interfering. Okay, well, why did you interfere? I'm not going to let you arrest my son under affirmative defense, the right of self-defense under my Fourth Amendment. I know that under Title 18, I have the right to protect him under that self-defense right of Fourth Amendment right. I have that right under justification defense to excuse the civil and criminal liability of myself, my son, and my daughter as well. The kidnapping that they did on her, I'm hoping very soon. There has been nothing happen, Lion. The attorney went out of town. So ever since all right, well, I had struggled a little bit yesterday as well. So obviously it's a shadow ban channel, and I'm not sure of the weather coming from the sun. We've got some solar. I've been doing things around the ministry here of birds and things to take animals to take care of, and dogs, and responsibilities for being off grid. So, but again, venue is at the very least. This is 100% qualifies for a change of venue, but it won't be. It cannot be. They have broken too many laws themselves, violated my constitutional Miranda rights, Sixth Amendment rights, the right of discovery, suppression of evidence. They have use this evidence in a court, for example. How, when I go stand before a jury and say, well, I went and was in open court and I heard my son in October in court. I heard him, Elijah, where he said he was over the phone because he didn't drive, the hours that 5 hours or 4 hours or something that he would have to drive. He was on the phone in October of 2024. I get summons as a witness in November, the next month, to his trial in December. I show up in his trial December, telling this platform I'm nervous. I haven't seen him. It's been almost 8 months. I don't know what to do. He'd be okay. I'll tell him, go do this on your head. You spent, nearly a year in county jail when they kept you one of the only 5 guys to get arrested for the same exact thing. And you were the only one to go to jail. You got this. I'll put money on your books. We'll fill you up, eat all ramen. You can eat that crap's horrible. We'll get you a TV. You can do this on your head. You out there as soon as my case, because I jumped your evidence, that they'll have to look at your 180 hours. That's what Dad did. I did, you'll be all right. I could talk to him. I was excited. I was all, to even see him. I was nervous to see him. And then I go to his trial. He's not there. And they told me he went missing in September, back before he was on the phone. He didn't show up in September. So we've issued a warrant for his arrest because he's didn't show up today and didn't show up September. Wait a minute. He was on the phone in October. This whole case it's a wreck. It's a freaking wreck. How do I trust law enforcement that doesn't even know when my son, I had the county and the state police, both of the ones that assaulted me, assaulted my son, shot him. I don't know exactly because I can't trust Marshall Ratanich. I don't know what the dude's name is. It doesn't matter. I'm 98% he's involved with the feds. He must be, and I don't know what it is. That has to be something. Why would they arrest Elijah and throw him in jail over something he already had done the hours and did a whole bunch of additional hours? Then they threatened to arrest him because they're targeting me. And then I bring him here and say, no, you're not going to arrest him. I have all the proof he did all this. There was 5 people who did all this community service work crew with him. He already did all this. Then he put his head down and started doing more hours he should have never done. Bullshit. You're not going to put him in jail again. You're going to do this downward departure and threaten him with these original charges. He only want to go to jail. He already did all this time. Fuck you. You're not going to arrest my son. I'll arrest him. I called Lane County and told these people, if you do this to my son again, you mark my words. He's 5 hours away. I will arrest his body before you got a whole police department to arrest him. and you've got phones to track him and all that, I will have his body. I will arrest him. It's an illegal arrest. Illegal, your warrant is not valid. It's an invalid warrant. My warrant is valid to protect his asshole and his face from getting ass raped by Big Bob, who wants to cock meat sandwich him. And I don't want my son to have to eat cock meat sandwiches and get double stuff like a quarter ride at the Kmart, like the rocket ride or the horsey back and forth, double stuff, when I know I have all the evidence that 5 people did these 180 hours. What the fuck would I let him get double stuff for? So because I used my First Amendment, and, I never cursed on this ministry at Predestined for Light until about a week before they SWAT raided this house where they were wearing me down. I'm not 20 anymore. Although I have the physique of a 20-year-old, and I can work most 20-year-olds into the ground, and father once in motion stays in motion. But this is something that I have all the proof. I thought you were innocent until proven guilty. They haven't even never looked at this. So the state is going to have to figure out what they're going to do when Elijah's 180 hours are documented, and all the 130, 40 plus hours that he did additionally that they're going to have to pay and reimburse him for at probably a staggering rate. We're talking about potentially at the Treasury calculator of Tampa Bay 1983 calculator, that's a ×3 rate of inflation toward today. That's a $3,049 a minute that he can, under his right to, because all this is illegal. They threw him in jail the first time illegally. Then they threw all of us and kidnapped my daughter and arrested her without a warrant. They called out in the SWAT raid. They had a warrant. They never showed warrant, never had a warrant. And I have the discovery. She's not on the warrant. I have under the right of discovery and suppression of evidence. They can't suppress. I have get access to all defendants. They're part of the case. I get all their evidence. So under discovery and suppression, there is no warrant that's why the Ted Martin dropped back in November the case on Adriana Massey, because he knew that they had kidnapped, the state of Oregon had kidnapped my daughter. They did not have a secret indictment. They did not have this signed by a judge and show probable cause. So my daughter would be very wealthy. Adriana Massey has hopefully already filed a lawsuit against the state of Oregon, and she probably has it because they probably dropped this fucking case if she was. So very, very soon she will. She has her home case, because my case now is with Paul Palmer, that they either drop this case immediately, remove the no contactors, file motion to remove all charges, return my 2 beater old weapons that I was not going to shoot anybody with, and I won't sue the state and I won't sue the county. That's the agreement right now. And he does think that there is a good chance that they will do that, because he thinks that Paul, this district attorney down here now, not Ted, the old, has not even pulled open the discovery and looked into this case to see what is going on, because they don't do shit. They just used to rake in 98.5% of cases right through the system. This last time I went into this, made an appearance, this big clown show, like it's a big, just extorting the shit out of people. But whatever it is, I'm not going to extort my merchant number. I already subrogated the merchant number in this case, exercised my right of subrogation, challenged you to just capacity of the Vandenberg, the seated man in the black robe, Dave. Dave's not here. Put him on notice of liability for all damages, punitive, emotional, and physical damages in this case. I told him they will give them that, merchant number, bond, treasury. It's money they make in this case when they can prove to me they're operating in a judicial capacity, because I already took over power of attorney in open court. The judge said I made my record, so I've exercised my right to power of attorney over that merchant number. This case is going nowhere in mine, but my son, my daughters, I don't know how that works. I don't care. It doesn't matter. My case standalone is this 180 hours. The whole thing, once I proved this case of mine, they'd have to drop the whole case with Elijah, because Elijah did the 180 hours with 5 people, Don Morgan with the 2 females, Chad, the fire chief, who for multiple days, he was there at the dunes, because we got, rich people that like to just go leave their shit out there at the dunes and don't care about cleaning up behind them. They use these community service because they didn't have that like he did in Lane County, where they got food for Lane County and the soup kitchen and all this garden and the, where they can go work for the church and do all these they got work crew out here, like, like road crew. When you get out, you see them working on the side of the road. Normally, they're come from a prison. Well, they do the same thing out here because they don't have any place to work, for them to work. Now they will do things like go get wood for somebody out at the sinks. That's a long way away. Chop wood, go pick up wood, take it out, bring it back. It's a day's labor in a van. They get in a van out here. That's what it's called. They don't have go in and work for no church community service. They have work crew. Elijah did all his work crew with 5 people. 180 hours. It's easy to prove. Beyond a reasonable doubt, I have more than enough evidence he went to the dunes. Fairgrounds. Dad, I'm raking the same spot at the fairgrounds, man. I know. Lily's targeting you. She's pissed off at me. She's trying to get you the fuck out of here. Just do your job, Elijah. Just whatever. They're trying to hurry you out of here. I know it doesn't make sense. It's busy work. Just do your job. Hurry up and wait. That's what you're doing right now. Getting your stuff done. Remember, she already started urine testing you, color coding you, and you don't have charges for drugs. But yet that clown rapist you were hanging around has charges for drugs, and I bring that up to her, and now she starts piss testing you. So that's what's going on. Don't worry about it. Just do your job, get to what you're done. You wanted to leave Lake County, get it done. Oh, Dad, I'm trying to get out of here. I can't get out of here for working me multiple days. Yeah, multiple days. If my son got on that work black van 1 day a week, that would be 160 hours because after them putting him, 1 of 5 guys in jail, 1 of 5 guys, only one to go to jail and spend nearly a year in this county because they're targeting him because of me. And that's what this case is going to show. They came here to kill me. It's either attempted murder or excessive force. That's what will come out in federal court if this has gone into a court. I want accountability is what I want. I want accountability for every one of these officers, for Vandenberg, Dave Vandenberg, the judge, the district attorney who skirted out the back door, Ted Martin, the elected sheriff at the time, Michael Taylor. Tyrant, absolute tyrant. Never once would he ever have any communication. And that's what Paul Palmer is saying is all you were asking for. If you want to see this SWAT warrant that I'm talking about, it's pulled apart on the playlist here on this channel. Most of the content is done through the live stream. I quit creating channel content on the video, and I just more effective to use the time now to live stream. YouTube saved my life. Father wrote that, but no, if I didn't have the live stream, they would have killed me. Absolutely. The live stream shows that they were coming in here and they were definitely coming to shoot, to kill. And they threw a grenade and hit me in the face at 45 seconds with no threats to them at all. And they were watching the live stream. So that's what the attorney is seeing. And he said, look, they know they're on your live stream. They say they have drones over the house. They know they're watching you. You go to the door to ask if your son is okay, and they hit you in the face with a grenade, which is not how a flash, concussion, bang, grenade. I had a concussion from 45 seconds after them getting here. They didn't execute the warrant properly. You hear me tell that, they're executing the warrant because I woke up to what I thought that I had heard that was the state police. I got up and immediately we're less than a minute of being here, and they assaulted me. So this is assault, excessive force, potentially attempted murder. I do believe that the officer that threw that hand grenade and hit me in the face will face attempted murder charges if put on federal trial. This absolutely. And the commander who I know, I'm special weapons and tactics trained myself. So I know how this works. Excessive force, even a street officer, not SWAT, has a use of force where they're supposed to first use their mouth. They just can't shoot you. That's not how it works. You have to pose a threat to them. I was not posing any threat. I was not reaching for any weapons. I was not communicating any. I was not even communicating. I was asking, Elijah, are you okay? And then that cost me a hand grenade to the face. So at the least, they were coming here to take my First Amendment right to shut me the fuck up. Try to make my Fifth Amendment a permanent thing, right to remain silent. Yep. And definitely came here to kill me. They were definitely trying to get me off of that live stream when I was live streaming. They bragged about coming out here to the locals. So it wasn't, many people saw there's massive show of force and multiple armored vehicles were wrecked this place, just ran over everything. They didn't give a shit. And then they arrested me without any resistance. My son, my daughter, or myself, they asked, hey, well, we need the gate code. I gave it to them without any resistance, and they fucking drove over all my shit anyways. Ruined all this. Apologized for the cursing. I didn't curse until about 1 week before they actually SWAT raided, stalked this. It's hard to believe it's been a whole year and nothing has been done. I still have holes in my windows. I'm still repairing fences. I'll never be able to fix my lungs. I have had a concussion from 45 seconds into them showing out. My eye is never going to be the same. They scarred my retina. It is what it is. I've suffered a stroke, the bleeding, and I'm live streaming. I got blood coming out my freaking eye ducts, my face on a live stream. Hiding this respiratory crap because I just want to have a conversation. I don't want you guys to have to sit here and listen to me have some coughing fit, or whatever, and it happens. You breathe 5 tear gas canisters. Those weren't the only ones they fired. They hit the side of the building. They didn't even be able to engage all those tear gas canisters through the windows. They hit the side of the window frame. They hit the whatever. We got some metal shutters on the side that you can tell they hit the shutter. So they obviously shot more than 5. When this attorney was watching this live stream, which is on this video on the playlist, it's a 16-minute video. There's only 2 up there. There's the last arrest where they arrested me for telling them that if you come back here and try to assault me again, that I will. And I know because I went up and I know where they did it. It's because Josh, that tyrant pig, who absolutely was the man bragging with the loudest face, that pig, Suey, his mouth was running on how they're going to come out here and kill me. That I'm this veteran that won't shut the fuck up about their police department and how corrupt they are. And I knew as soon as I said to that guy's eyes, you stalk people in this town, because he has been in areas where he shouldn't be, going in houses he shouldn't be. He retaliated and went out and got 2 felonies and came here and took my weapons. He's the arresting officer. He's the one who drove me back to fucking county. So fuck Josh Bezel. That dude is a fucking tyrant pig. And just because I came back and live stream said I was so frustrated because I knew that these fucking pigs knew something about where my son is. I said, man, these cops know something. Marshall knows something. I'm not wrong about this. So when I saw him and I walked in the store, pig, like I do every time, tyrant, like I do every time when I see a pig, because they should be accountable and somebody should stick a camera in their face and make accountable every time. They're not even operating they're operating in crimes of commerce is what you're being arrested for. But we'll leave that for another live stream. I've done plenty of live streams, hundreds of hours on this commerce corporation. But in this case, Josh Bezel gets whatever. That's not my correct name. I don't even care what the dude's last name is. He's a stalker. He's a tyrant. And he came and he bragged. I guarantee if there's satellite imagery, and Father will know, Father will pour out a just measure. He will be the police officer who showed up that day and removed the headlight out of the Toyota pickup that he audited me. And the audit is on this channel of that motorhome. The lights there was nothing wrong. That motorhome the cab was near mint condition. Took that light out and the bezel, Josh Bezel, the light bezel, I don't know what his last name is, and put it inside the gate. That means that was removed out of the Toyota and brought into I didn't drive that through. I thought, man, maybe I drove through there. No, I didn't. I never went inside this fenced 2 acres that I have fenced in here. That is somebody deliberately took that headlight out during that SWAT raid and brought it onto the property. That's him. I guarantee a satellite imagery will show it was him. This dude's a fucking tyrant. And so he goes out and I tell him, what is going on with my son? You live in this community, Josh. You live here. We live in this community. You're stalking people in this. I'm not stalking, no. But yes, you are, Josh. Too many people have seen you go into people's houses where you shouldn't be. Listen, Josh, what's going on with my son's 180 hours? What the fuck is going on? How do you sit there and we live in this for nearly 10 months, 11 months since you SWAT raided my fucking house? What's going on with my son? And I didn't yell at him like that, but I asked him what's going on with Elijah's 180 hours. Have you even looked into it? You're a tyrant, Josh. You're not doing anything. You don't give a shit. I'm a dad. You know, you live in this community. I care about my son. He even looked at this. I'm not a bad guy. You know, and he goes out to his fucking car and he comes back in. Oh, your son has a warrant for his arrest. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Fucking idiot. So I came home on the live stream and I told you what was in my head. You know, and I did because I had snapped. I'm a fucking veteran. When that dude said that to me and I knew he was lying to my face because he is a stalker and he is going in houses of people's that there has been people. I have tons of discovery from people who have reported to me when I put out, you know, are you being targeted by this police department, and came to me about this particular officer. Yeah, he's the one who drugged me down. So he goes and he tells me that. And so I came home and I'm like, man, I got my veteran, you know, clicked in when he said that to me and I knew he was lying. I was like, you know, I punked his ass in my brain and he reached for his gun and pulled it out and I grabbed him and I beat the fuck out of him with his gun in my head. In my head. I didn't say that to him. I never said that to him. I said that to you guys. And I said, and then I clicked out of it. You know, it was just like, because I knew I was being lied to. I knew I was being lied to by this fucking tyrant Josh Pig. So he goes and he gets a fucking extreme risk order and says, well, I watched your live stream and you said you're going to beat me with my fucking gun. And then they come and take my guns. Yep. And then, yeah, warrant arrest me and put menacing and harassing the police charges against me. So fuck Josh Bezel. You'll find out that this dude is an absolute, he's going to go to prison. He will go to fucking prison. Bad pigs belong in the pig pen. Penitentiary. Pig penitentiary. So he's a pig and he's a tyrant and he's harassing people in this fucking community. He's one of the newer pigs. He couldn't get a job. I told him that on the way. You couldn't get a job with the fire department, so you got a job with the police. I didn't look for a job at the fire. This dude's a fucking not even a good liar. So I never said that to him. I came home to you and told you what happened in my veteran flash screen of him punking him and then beating him with his gun, which is not shooting him. In my head, I never thought that was beating him with his gun because he's a fucking tyrant. But it was only a thought in my head in an instant process of how I work because my brain isn't wired like you. I'm a fucking veteran. I have control of my mind. Oh, I get that instant digital fucking options is what I normally get. And I'm glad that the option to click off and just walk the fuck away from him. And I did. So there's no harassing that pig. And they've already convicted me of these fucking charges. No jury, no nothing. No jury, no nothing. Came in here, took the weapons, nothing. No trial, menacing charges. Yep. So you never heard a song called Fuck the Firefighters, have you? Nope. So this pig, this tyrant, is a massive part of this case, and that's why I audited his ass in public and called him a tyrant pig, because I do every time I see him. Last time, if you want to see, there's two videos when the cop drove by, I flipped him off and he came over to me and I'm like, what's going on, man? What's going on? You know, how do you guys, you arrest my car, you convict this guy in fucking court? I got the cop saying he was going the wrong way. 8 miles an hour. That's a bunch of bullshit. He wasn't speeding. Mr. Werner, you have a warrant for your arrest. The fuck? Oh, you didn't show up to court this month. Yes, I did already. And I wasn't, they recorded me. I was there, the DOJ. I made a pretty big deal about it online or when I was on the phone. Like, oh, Department of Justice is in here. Maybe something will get done. And then they never even responded. DOJ didn't respond to me. Nobody responded. They just heard it. It's on record because it was all being recorded. So the FOIA request would show. But no, and harassment charges and menacing the police. Well, yeah. Menacing? No, I'm auditing them. What's going on with my son's charges, Josh? You know, what's going on with here? Where is he at? What's going on with my son? You guys, and I told him. And so I knew that these fucking cops knew something, and turn around, they did. They did. They knew fucking Josephine County said that Elijah had been seen. And this whole time I'm screaming to the police department, where's my son? Did Marshall kill my son? Did he kidnap him? Does he have him in these gold mines? I'm saying this at the time of my arrest. I say, Marshall, okay, this is for the same fucking case of this pig While I'm auditing him, asking him what's going on with my son, he turns around and retaliates and targets me and gets an extreme risk order. And they come in here and go through every bit of this fucking property and find 2 fucking guns, because that's all there was. I have an old shotgun that I had to protect my animals. Now I can't even protect my animals. These people are fucking animals. This is how they treat a veteran like myself. Somebody's defended your right to free speech, your Second Amendment. Yeah, form, militias, right? I never said to form any, none of that crap, but that's part of your First Amendment. First ballots, then bullets. I never ever threatened to shoot anybody. I said if they came here, I would protect myself and shoot them. You're motherfucking right. I got animals here that they already assaulted. Then Marshall, who fucking wouldn't give my dog back for months, came back. That man should be arrested right now for animal cruelty. What he did to my dog. 7 fucking 8, 10 ticks between his neck, 5 of them in his fucking face. His tail looked like somebody took a torch to his fucking tail and burned his tail. A whole part of his undercarriage just fucked up. Cherry red, bright red. His tail looked like somebody, you ever get a burn and you peel off the top white layer and that shiny fucking red layer. It looked like, glassy. That's how his whole top. He gets the dog back to me, and I try to get my dog back after being arrested for helping my son. Then this dude turned around and steals my silver, takes my fucking passport. So I called. I spoke to this attorney and said, look, once I got this Paul Palmer, and I said, look at this case. Why is this Marshall character, able to just sit there, and something's not right with this guy. He lying to me and tell me that he don't know no shit about my son, but my son supposedly bought his truck back from him, and my daughter's car's sitting down there after I had that trial. I wanted to know where my son was at, so I went and saw this man in person. My supposed friend went down there unannounced, went down there, where's Elijah, and see my fucking son and daughter's car there. Oh, no, she sold me the car. Hey, wait a minute. You told me when I went and picked up my dog that she took the silver. When you told me you had it the whole time in the back of your trunk, and I'm sitting there in jail going, oh shit, I'm going to get a fucking call going, oh man, somebody broke into my car, man, and they stole all your silver. Oh fuck, my passport's in there too. I've got paperwork. I got a call from the Legacy Coin today. This dude's going to have to pay. Remember, that's all on record. They sent me copy of the purchases that I made through Legacy Coin. I purchased things I'd never purchased before. I'd already had somebody steal my retirement from me, because that is my retirement, was my precious metals. So I tell this, and at the time of my arrest, you hear me going, what's going on with Marshall? I think this guy's got my son. I went down there, I called his mom. She's, we talked about him for a moment. I went down there and saw him. Now she won't even take my phone call. She won't even look on Messenger to let the, refusing to. Now, I guess you can look at it, whatever. I'm not that good at it, but you can, if somebody sees your message, she ain't calling. So I tell all this to the attorney. And he says, well, call Josephine County. If he's got your near 40 pounds of silver, okay, you gave up your gold to get your son out. That makes sense, whatever. That's your silver. You told him don't touch it. He ends up telling you, he gave it to your daughter, and then you find your daughter's car down there when he said she needed money for an attorney. Come to find out, her case was dropped back in November. This dude's lying. Marshall is 100% lying to me. 100%. I sat down in front of his face, goes, where's my son at? He sat there and told me, man, I think I might know somebody who could get a hold of him, and I'll get a hold of you in a week. And I call him back in a week, and he asked me, hey, what's going on with your son, man? What? So I've had enough of this Marshall. So I, figured it out. This is leading. This is where my son's at. He got to be there. Why is my daughter's car there? He said that my son bought back the Toyota 80s Toyota yellow pickup truck and went to go run from the fucking police to miss his trial in a yellow truck at this 80s yellow color. Bullshit. When he said he never talked to him. So he turned around and lied to me, lied to my face. He's lying to me about this silver. Then he says, nope, she took the silver when I went to go pick up my dog. And man, I knew he was lying to me then, but I was looking at the condition of my dog going, put the dog in the truck, Tracy, get out of here. Do not sit there and make a deal with this guy. Don't fucking talk to him. Something's not right. He's sitting there lying to your fucking face. He told you for more than, weeks. I have all the screen captures of this too. This idiot has forgotten, and all of it's in the cloud. So he said he had it. And then when I went there that day to pick up my dog, after months of begging him to get my dog back in deplorable condition, he flips the script and says, nope, Adriana had took it. She's the one who took it, and she's the one who exchanged it. So it will, and the attorney will know that if you sell metal in Oregon, you have to give ID, which I don't think he did. I think he kept the metal. I don't think he ever took it. I don't think he gave it to Adriana because Adriana's case was dropped. Why would Adriana sell the car to him if she had already taken the money from, or the metals, nearly 40 pounds of precious metals from me? Okay, well, from Marshall, because it was in his possession, and that's what he told me when I asked him to go get it and get my fucking son out of jail, because he was long playing me that he was going to bail my son out the very first day. I said, I don't give a fuck about me. Get him out of here. If there's a bail set, there it is, $12,500, $120. Get him out of here. He said, yep, I got it. I'm coming back from California. I'll get him out tonight. And then he long played me at day 9. I finally pushed him and said, how much money do you have, man? Well, I got about $4,500, but that's that stuff I borrowed from that guy because I sold. Dude, listen, there's precious metals at the property in the cabin. Don't touch my silver. Somebody stole 25 pounds, which was my brother last time, my own family. It's all I have for me for my retirement. If I want to leave the country, my passport, I didn't tell him my passport was in there. This is my retirement. Don't touch my silver, please. Last time, 25 pounds by my own brother got taken. Don't touch it, Marshall. Go get my son and bail him out of here. There should be enough gold. He's got a bunch of silver. I just exchanged a car. He just sold a car. Take it, get him out of jail, get him out of here. Okay. I was beside myself that he kept putting me off. So I told him the location. He went and got it. That was the thing. And then he came back and he said, well, so he's out. I said, so what's going on? Well, we had to spend some of the silver. What? I said, don't touch it. Well, how much is left? Oh, probably more than half. Oh, okay. So I'm thinking maybe 20, 25 pounds is left, kind of like the first of it. Where's that? It's in the back of my trunk. I'm like thinking, I'm sitting in jail talking to him, and he put money on my books. I couldn't talk to anybody else. That was what was strange too. He wouldn't put money on my books so I could talk to anybody else. I could only talk to him. So when I get in contact with him and tell him, and then I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I'm going to get that call again. I know my passport's in there. So when I go and I pick up my dog, because he gets pissed off that I make a mention online about Tango, and that this dog right here is in his care, and that he stole the dog. I said, I didn't say he stole the dog, dude. You need to back up and regroup. I said, you will not give my dog back to me. And I asked not for just me, but for this dog as well, who has never been without him, needs his brother. It's not just me. Give me, please. I need to come. I'll come get him. I can't just pull up. You're behind a locked gate. I can't come drive 4 hours. That's an 8-hour day, without, I don't have the funds. You have all the money. I could get an attorney with it, He gets pissed off that I mention his name online and says, come pick your shit up. Stop telling me, give me my whatever. So I have some totes and stuff that he's let me, and I have all the, Marshall, I don't know you shit, dude. You wanted me to use some screws and stuff, but I haven't taken nothing from you. You tried to get me to take everything on your property and bring it over to my property. And I don't want to do that because I know this happens. People flip the script. So minimal. I've only used a minimal, and that's because you pushed it on me, and so we don't know anything. As a matter of fact, I've been your friend. We're friends. We don't know anything. If my son owes you debt, that's something else, okay, between you and him, okay? But my debt is none. I owe you nothing, Marshall. Don't be trying to sit there, and if that's what he did, I thought maybe he'd use this debt from Elijah, from helping him out when Elijah, he put a track chair. He didn't put in money. He did, but I had to sell this track chair from this he was a caretaker for another veteran, an older guy that he'd been with out here in the desert. He killed himself out here. Maybe, I don't know. Did Marshall do that? I don't mean to implicate that, but I don't know. Once again, my son knows if somebody would talk to him, I'm not implicating my son. I just know that my son knew Marshall before I had ever met him, and he knew this guy, and that's how this track chair came up with this debt that I had to sell to help Elijah get out of jail. I put in a substantially amount of more money on top of that to get Elijah an attorney so he made an agreement and got out of jail. He took a plea deal. Whatever. He did what he did. He stayed in there for fucking nearly a year. I don't blame whatever my son did is what father wanted him to do. So anyways, this Marshall again takes and, I talked to him after, and I'm talking to him in jail about Elijah. And he said that he's not taking my calls. And I talked to him after he's not taking my calls. So I go down there to pick up my dog, and I have to drive nearly 4 hours to go get this dog, and I drive 100 million miles to go get him. I would have if he would just let me pick him up. And he tells me that Adrian had taken the medals. And he didn't. So he turns and flips the script. And then he turns around and the very next day he says, well, hey, I was cleaning out the back of my trunk and I found your passport. And I didn't ask him to send it to me right away. And evidence will show that. Maybe I should have or whatever. But he did say he sent it. And I don't believe he sent it at all. I don't believe he sold the medals. I don't believe Adriana sold the medals. And I already have the attorney looking into whether in Oregon, if you sell medals, you can buy as much as you want without reporting. But if you sell a substantial amount of precious metals, which they sold all my gold and suppose they have my silver, I don't think they ever did any of that. I think that's bullshit. I think he rounded it off in his head why he never gave me an exact amount. And he kept the precious metals. He went and paid and bailed Elijah out, and he's holding them for fucking ransom. He's got that $10,000 fucking dollar debt or whatever he owes him, and this $12,500 that I paid, and saying that he paid it and has got something, because guess what? I tell the attorney this, and I said, I think this guy's got my son because he's lying to me. My daughter's car's exactly where my son's car. He tells me he hadn't seen these. Neither my son or my daughter, they're not taking his calls. It's going straight to voicemail. Then he turns and flips the scripts and says that my son bought the yellow truck back from him and that my daughter needed the money for an attorney when her case is dropped in November. He has my medals. He's got my passport. I need to take action on this. That's a federal offense. I'm not seeking vengeance, but I'm more concerned at this point. The precious metals, the shiny metal and the passport, it's a federal offense. That's a separate. I'm concerned for my son's well-being. Does he have my son locked up? If my daughter's car there, what the fuck? Where is she at? I asked my son's, mom. That's her daughter. Where's she at? They live over near the same area. They're missing. What the fuck? So is Marshall have him down there? I think he does. So I explained this to the attorney. I'm yelling this to the people at the time of arrest, making my point. What's going on with Marshall, Wolf Creek? Well, I called Josephine County because the attorney tells me to call Josephine County, and he's going to call Josephine County. I call the police department, and I tell him, this guy's got my medal, 40 pounds, that's a felony. The passport, that's a felony, but that can hold off. I think that my son is there, some gold mines. I've looked at the aerial view. There's some gold hill up at the top of that. Does he have them somewhere? Because that property leads, where is he at? I think he's got him tied up. My daughter there, I think something's not right. Why would this guy he's lying to me. He turns around and threatens me. Hey, you're going to break a no contact order. Quit trying to use the police department for your dirty deeds there. You have a record. You have a history, not a record. because I don't have a record as of right now. There's no criminal conviction. So, I'm not being convicted. There's no conviction. There's a current open case, but you're making me guilty until proven innocent. I use my First Amendment right and speak up. And so he turns around and then threatens me with breaking a no contact third-party contact order. If they go out there to do a health and welfare check on Elijah to see if his body is being accosted, kidnapped, shot, whatever, Adriana raped, he threatens me with a no contact order. And then I said, well, He says, well, I said he has a warrant for his arrest. He has a warrant for his arrest. Yeah. He says, I know. He said, well, he's been seen in Grants Pass and as recently as February 11th on camera. So they know where my son is at. So fuck you, Josh Bezel, in your penitentiary trial. When you realize what the fuck I just came up and asked you where my son was at, what I have is a thought in my head. I never threatened him with that. He goes and turns around and retaliates and takes my Second Amendment right, my Fourth Amendment right to be able to protect my animals. Some cougar came down off the mountain lion or some came down off the hill. Cat, I just have to watch my dogs get tore up. This man is an absolute tyrant. He needs to be he shouldn't be on duty right now. But he will until this gets taken care of. Guarantee you. But Josh Bezel will, whatever his stupid name, I don't give a fuck about this tyrant pig. You know, he's an absolute tyrant. And to sit there and retaliate to me because I'm asking you what the hell, you live in this community, what the fuck is going on with my son? I know you motherfuckers know something about it. It turns out the law knows. I was correct again. And Elijah was there at Marshall's somehow. How the fuck would they see him on camera in Josephine County on camera as recently and not ping his phone to Marshall's house? Bullshit. Marshall's a Fed. Marshall's got to be with the Feds. There's something. Something is not right with this case. 100%. And I've been trying to get my mentality right with this. You know, what does he have over my son? I told you what I think. I think he's extorting him. Telling him I don't think Marshall ever took my passport to no Wolf Creek post office. He has it. He's held it. That's a felony. And the feds are allowing him to do it. They've never contacted me. Even during the SWAT raid, I said I called the Department of Justice at the federal level. From top to bottom, I've called all these different agencies and reported to local, governor, federal, in state investigation teams for people. Well, they can't police themselves. Yeah, I know. I've called. Not one phone call have I ever received back from any of these agencies. So, culpable, criminally liable. I do have a strong set of evidence that will show that the state of Oregon and each one of those SWAT officers will be put on administrative leave and will be investigated why they didn't look into Elijah's 180 hours. One single time did they not. I bet you if those officers were brought independently into a investigation right now and asked what 180 hours is, they wouldn't know their ass from a hole in the ground. Nothing about it. They just came out here like yes men and just fucked me up. That's a rogue gang is what that is. When I was a police officer, that was the definition of a gang. A heavily armed group of thugs all going around and harassing and extorting the general public for their money, because look at what they're doing to me now, right? Or trying to. I just had to bail myself out of jail, $4,000. Again, I never bailed myself out of jail. That's a first. But I did. And so that's costly. I don't have wages like that. I'm a veteran. I don't get veterans benefits. I don't get Army pay. I don't get separation pay. I don't get any kind of Social Security. I was a single dad for 8 years. I don't get any back child support. Never got a dime when I had them. I'm self-made by these hands. I'm a horse trader is what I do. I work for a living. I do more sometimes than people before 9 a.m. than they do all week. But either way, should have never been assaulted. My son was shot that day. My daughter was kidnapped, and I'm going to hold this state of Oregon accountable. And I'm going to hold this Lake County Police Department accountable, because 98.5% of cases, not just in this county, across the United States, corporation, take a plea. Please agree to take a gain for the bar. Par gain, plea bar gain. Plea agree. You agree to give the bar, extort that merchant number, and that's what they're doing, whether you understand what's happening or not. So I'm making another evidentiary stream because I am floored. Once again, I called Josephine County. They turn around and threaten me with a no contact order, breaking that no contact order. They refused me service. They have not called me back and investigated the 40, potential pounds of precious metals that still sits there, probably with the gold in a box somewhere with the passport, probably still in it. Motherfucker's so stupid, he probably's not even removed the passport from it. So changed his name, whatever, blocked, my account or whatever, or shaved his head. This dude has had longer hair than the Caesar Borgia image of Christ, white Jesus. Yeah. And when I went and saw him, and I've known him the whole time. I've known him for years. He had his hair cut. Something's going on there. So I think he's some kind of informant, or he's a rat a snitch. Marshall John Finn, I don't know what he is on Facebook. He's off Mount Creek in Wolf Creek, Oregon. And I know my son's there. And I still to this day cannot imagine what the fuck. How is my son just sitting there? Something ain't right to this day. So I know it, and that's why I make this discovery, more streams against the state of Oregon and against Lake County, and again now against the federal government, because they're very aware of what's going on, and they have not stepped in to investigate this absolute tyrannical. We got more police officers here in Lake County. They put more police officers in, but we don't have a 911 service now. Is that not fucked up? No 911 services. They had to be moved to another county. So that means you're delayed already, and there is no ambulance out here where I live. That's pretty fucked up, man. That's bad policing. They're extortionists out here. That's what they do. I remember when my son was arrested 5 years ago, he said, if your son was in any other county, I'd have him out of jail right now, but you tell him to sit in there and be quiet. They do whatever the fuck they want in that county, Tracy. It's Billy Bob. I'll never forget that. If that will be brought into an open court, it has to. John Caligo, if they ever bring this to court, we'll see. That's exactly what John said. This place is known for being corrupt out here. Just nobody would stand up to him. I just happen to be that guy that's been standing up to him for over 10 years. It's not just the law enforcement. They're in cahoots with the farmers, and they run the shit out of this little country town. The school is absolutely corrupt with these teachers who let these children haze, not harass, but haze these farmers' kids who got the money, haze these other kids in the valley who don't have the money. It's ridiculous. The stories, it's criminal. The teachers should be put under, again, investigation out here because they're in cahoots with the farmers. They're recently, Tom Rourke retired because he got caught on the job doing fucking methamphetamines. They don't want to talk about it. It's the guy that I was pointing out that everybody sees in town going and picking shit up at the airport and seeing at the two locations where the methamphetamines are being dealt at the house. The fuck is this guy doing? Investigating? Picking up or delivering? I don't know. And yeah, he gets caught on the job. And, oh no, he retired. Fuck off. Little birds talk in this town, even amongst their own selves. So I didn't get that wrong either. Ha. Oh, yep. Ha ha. Got it right. So I'm tired of this tyrannical, corrupt farmers out here, and I've stood against them for nearly 10 years, and my job is done here. So now I'll be going to Ecuador, and they will drop these charges, or they'll face federal lawsuit, state lawsuit, and county suit against the state, county, and the federal government for not stepping in years ago and removing all the corruption in this county, where I've been giving them substantiating discovery evidence that they can bring into a trial against these corrupt tyrant cops. They stole the Klamath Action Services, which is the funding for people out here that do not have money to heat, and they come from somebody from another county came and stole it out of this county because they're just so, that's what they do in this county. So all those people during the winter didn't get any money to have heat until the summer. Do you think they need propane in the summer? They need it in the winter. This is ridiculous what this county is. No 911, extortion, more police officers. I have Kevin in court with the cop telling him, the cop said he just lied in open court. I'm not going to go to the detail. And he sat back and went, oh, crap. Well, it's up to the judge now. Kevin drove 1,400 miles to fight that ticket and not had a ticket in 20 years for 8 over in a 35, 43. They go 65 down this highway. That was a targeting. They target him. And Kevin has enough cojones to put it in open court. You're just targeting me because I'm hanging around this guy. So he will be someday too. A just measure will be poured out for what they've already done to Kevin, And this is what happens when I hang around my pastor and I get targeted. So thank you for sending Kevin. Father, I don't know why you would do this to Kevin, but I'm glad he's strong enough to make it through this. The raising of his insurance rates over something we proved obviously in an open court that the cop was not radar. That was not the wrong direction. Wrong direction. You said you made it up. You're lying. And so I didn't say he knew he was lying. I just got him to admit he was radaring the wrong way. And that's not the direction that he was going when he was parked at the time. That cop is lying, and I caught him at open court, and he knew it. He's like, damn, he leaned back in his chair. It didn't matter. Kevin still got that ticket. They do whatever they want. Here, I spoke with Rick. He's like, man, I knew I tried, and they were just going to do whatever they're going to do with me. It's because Rick knows me. He's my neighbor. People are targeted. This is a case of police targeting. You don't think it happens? It does. It happens this town here in Lake County, Oregon. So I'm going to continue my walk. They've stripped my Fourth Amendment, Second Amendment, violated my Sixth Amendment, my Miranda rights. It's just a mess, but it shouldn't hopefully take too much longer. I got to get off and call this attorney and see if we can get some more action going on this case. I'm not going to wait. I'm going to file a lawsuit. So that's the plan. If you would like to see what the state of Oregon is capable of doing, anybody who lives in this state, please be very careful. They have a rogue gang members called the Oregon State Police. It'll come out on without looking at evidence or any discovery, anything, and just come use and try to eliminate your body. They did it to me. They kidnapped my daughter. They definitely shot at, I don't know exactly where my son was shot, but you can hear it in the live stream with his hands in the air. This is a case of attempted murder, potentially, and at minimum, excessive force. Accountability is what I'd like. I don't want vengeance for no man. I don't want to see any harm caused to anybody, but accountability. And I do, with all the effort that I have 5 years in this, will seek to have every one of these people removed from public service and community service. I don't want to take their livelihood. They want to go flip burgers, go somewhere else, find another line of work, but I would like to see any of these people listed on my under the right of discovery, suppression of evidence, under my Sixth Amendment right to fair, speedy trial, and call witness in my favor. You can't limit my witnesses. I have possibly 50 witnesses in this case. That's a long, long, long trial. A lot of witnesses, a lot of summons, a lot of jury. This is not a case that they're going to run from. The best thing the state of Oregon, the best thing the federal government could do is contact the state of Oregon, tell them, the county, to drop all charges, remove the no contact orders, have me sign it. That's what Paul said. I said, I'm going to call and talk to him, and I won't sue the state or the county. Somehow accountability, though, it's got to happen. So maybe it won't. Maybe I won't, maybe they won't drop the case, and we'll go ahead and go to the change of venue and go to federal court. And every one of these officers will face lawsuit. The federal, state, and county will be sued. I will go after each one of these individual officers, community servants, and public servants who have bonds, and I will place a separate suit against them. So it doesn't matter. I'm not going to stand down. I haven't stood down this far. I'm done living my life in that fashion. I have the time to do this. Father's blessed me with the abundance of it. So whatever it takes, the amount of time it takes, I'm in it until whatever, Father, the day of my death is already written. They already came out here with 25 men and tried to kill me, eliminate me, and I'm still standing here. Although I've suffered a concussion, a stroke, I've had severe, issues with my, issues in respiratory, and I'm still here. And I'm thankful and I'm blessed that I can still stand up and do, because that's what he did. He stood up to perversion of the halakha and the God, and that's all that I'm doing. I'm just doing what Father designed me to do. Do not partake in unfruitful works of darkness, rebuke them, expose them, and that's what I'm doing, exposing them. Remember, I'm only standing in. I'm just a dad whose son got in trouble, who did his community service, and they said he didn't, and I know he did. That's all this case is. That's all. I mean, there's obviously more with the targeting, but with him, he did it. So as soon as they prove that he did the 180 hours in open court, which they will have more with the 5 witnesses, Tom, Don, Morgan, all these, Chad, all these people who witness, they have to figure out what they're going to do about the 180 or 140 hours, 130, 120, 30 hours plus. That's 300 hours that my son was made to do. each one of those hours can be very costly. So I think the best thing they should do is focus and just drop mine, because I'll go quietly into the night. I think what their major concern should be is, where is Elijah? Why haven't they went and executed that warrant when they did it here and already put him in jail now, what, 2 or 3 times over the same thing, and now they're not doing anything to him? And that's rather alarming. I find that just absolutely. And then when my attorney calls to get this transcripts of this phone call of them threatening me, they stonewall the attorney and won't give him any information. So something is afoot. It has to do with Marshall. If the state of Oregon was understanding, they have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, which means if there's any doubt, and there's plenty of it, and they don't have the preponderance of evidence, they're going to have to drop the case anyways. They should be very concerned about Adriana suing them because they kidnapped her, and Elijah has a massive case too as well. I only want to go to Ecuador and be left alone and farm the rest of my life and eat and food that's not banned in this country organically, and that's all I want to do. I don't care, and share the gospel. I have no more bucket list, and I don't even need to do that. But I will continue to serve in this country, whether I'm here or not within the confines of this border. I plan on going to a constitutional republic, something I was already planning on doing anyway. So it's not like I wasn't already there. There was no running away from this. I just want now to be let go. I'm a dad that said, hey, here's all the evidence. They didn't listen to me. It doesn't matter. I jumped in front of the charges. I became the evidence. Here it is, nearly 10 months, 11 months later. They haven't done anything. So that is a violation of speedy trial under the 6th Amendment, fair trial under the 6th Amendment, adequate counsel under my Miranda rights. I know my rights. I'm a prior law enforcement officer, so I have the understanding of how this works, how trial, Title 18, all of this. I have committed no crimes. I have the right of affirmative defense. So does my son, and so does my daughter. So I'm hoping to get this taken care of this week. Maybe Paul will go talk to Paul tomorrow, today, or next week. That's it. After next week, no more negotiating with the state of Oregon, no more negotiating with the county, no more negotiating with the Fed. I'm going to start trying to drop some of the prices of some of the things that I have up for sale to obtain an attorney to face federal suit against, first starting with Lake County and the state of Oregon to begin with. Those would be the first 2 suits that I file against. And when I find them liable, I'm going to go after in a lawsuit against each one of these people. As I said, there's 50 of them, and they can't limit me under my trial to not call those 50 people. And then the thousands of hours, since they said that this channel is being monitored, there's thousands of hours of YouTube live streaming. They're going to have to go through all this is discovery, including you are now the evidence, so you know. So this is what's going to happen. So I got to get off here, call the attorney. I was really hoping I would stall. I get a call. It's not happening. I'm going to have to push this. I see it. It is what it is. Life's not Burger King. You can't always have it your way. That's what I got to do. So appreciate your time. And thanks for being a witness part of this discovery, violation, attempted murder. Go watch the live stream. I think you'll agree that's extreme, excessive force. I was not violent, reaching for a gun. I never called for violence. I said I would protect my son, or I would, if backed into a corner, I would strike. That's called your 4th Amendment. You have the right to do that. And I didn't. I said I would, but I didn't. And then, but not with my First Amendment. I never called for a Second Amendment when I was saying that too for 9 months. And then they said anonymous YouTube caller said that he would fight to the death to keep his son from going to prison. So that was their justification to come here and SWAT raid the house. And they got no violence from anybody. None. They were the only one who assaulted. They were the only one who were violent. So they'll be held criminally liable, culpable, and I still have the right of affirmative defense. Thank you, Father, for giving me that constitutional right under my 4th Amendment. So hope you understand. They'll do this to you. Don't think they won't. I'm very concerned for every state resident of Oregon. They could do this to anybody. So hopefully Father will step in very soon with his will. He writes all things. And I'll get a call soon telling me that, nope, they decided to stand down, which got to sign these papers and drop, they'll drop the charges and drop the no contact. Or where I go from there is Ecuador. I'm not going to run. I'm not going to go tell somebody I have nothing to run from, nothing to hide. So they just came and SWAT raided, not with the SWAT, but, did a warrant, and they looked through all this house. They have nothing to hide. So All glory to Shiloh. Leave a comment on this video. Hit the thumbs up. It is the Shadow Band channel. What are you whining about? Nobody here. Stop it. So, much Agape. Links are in the description. If you want to support the channel in a monetary way, you don't have to. Your time is more important. Thanks for your time. If you notice, when sand goes through an hourglass at the very end, it starts rushing real quick when it gets closer to the end. Is that feeling a little familiar? If we tip that over, those last, hundreds of grains, they come down real fast. All right, love you. Always Agape, Pastor Revelation, Pastor Apocalypse. Whoa.